Hi, wrestling fans. Thanks for clicking the dreaded D-Rose report. Hey, got a kind of a 2-day report here. One of these days I'll change the direction of the setup here and give you a little bit of something different to look at. Of course, I'll still be here. WWE NXT champion Big E and TNA World Heavyweight Champion Matt Hardy had an exchange on Twitter after a fan wrote how he wanted the Hardy Boys to return to WWE and face New Day. Well, anyway, Matt Hardy said, "Are they the guys that wear those strap-ons on their head?" He said, "That's not iconic." Well, Big E got word of it, and he says, "To each his own. Twitter wrestling beef between people who work for different companies is childish." He says, "Be well." Matt Hardy wrote back, he says, "No beef here. Just a sports entertainer like you guys, and I hope your New Day rocks until we lock it up in the ring one day." Big E says, "This has been my most civil interaction on Twitter." He says, "Are we supposed to hug now?" Matt Hardy says, "I suppose so. Your power of positivity, there you go, is iconic." Anyway, former WWE champion Batista, he was backstage visiting in Florida, Tampa, and at the SmackDown tapings. Of course, he lives there. And not at the tapings, but in Tampa. Anyway, Vince McMahon and other officials reportedly pitched an idea of having Batista do a WrestleMania 32, do a special guest referee thing. And perhaps in the match with Roman Reigns and Triple H. Well, Batista appreciated the invitation, he says, but turned down the offer. Batista does not want to return for a match or a WrestleMania moment, just for the sake of making an appearance. When and if he does return, he would like and prefer to do something like in a final run with some meaning behind it. He wants to make sure his legend is strong and in the right way. And if he gets a much more movie offers, it'd be in the right way. The latest 5 things on video, if you ever watch that thing with Kyle Edwards, looks at what you didn't know about the Inoki family, the Rock's family, or Sika, Alpha, whatever. Anyway, 5 members are in the Hall of Fame, and 2 married into the Hall of Famers. 5 the families has won 34 titles in WWE. 4 of the family members played college football. 8 of the members of the family have a traditional Samoa tattoos, usually on one side. And 10 family members have competed in WrestleManias. Thought I'd let you know. WWE Hall of Famer Dory Funk Jr. turns 75 years old. Marty Jannetty turns 56. Former WWE diva Angela Fong, remember her? Short time there. 31, and this would have been the 56th birthday of Hall of Famer Kerry Von Erich. WWE taped the following matches for, I think it was last night's NXT. The Vaudevillians take on the Hype Brothers. Carmella takes on Emma, Enzo Amore, and Colin Cassidy taking on 2 enhancement talents. Somebody they just want to give a good try to on TV. Asuka takes on Santana Garrett, and NXT champion Finn Balor takes on Apollo Crews in a non-title match, so you know how that's going to end when it's a non-title. TNA Impact Wrestling Trevor Lee defeated Tiger Uno to become the new X Division champion. Lee previously held the tag team titles with Brian Myers or Kurt Hawkins, but this is his first singles match run in the company. Lee had former WWE and WCW star Shane Helms in the corner. Helms also worked backstage at TNA and tweeted the following after last night's win. He says, "I'm here to fire up the X Division." And I still like this little Superman deal he used to do. Anyway, WWE WrestleMania 32 DVD and Blu-ray is now available for pre-order. Don't get ahead of me now, because it hadn't happened yet, but you can get the pre-order on Amazon. Order now. The DVD is going to be around, let's say $25, and Blu-ray is going to be $35, and the set's going to be released May 10th. Gotta wait till it happens. All right, noted earlier via PWI Insider that the plan of Monday was to do a Braun Strowman versus Undertaker and Bray Wyatt taking on Brock Lesnar in single matches for WrestleMania 32. Brian Alvarez noted on Wrestling Observer Live today that Vince McMahon really wants to do the Braun versus Taker, but loves the idea of the two going at it. As noted previously, Vince wanted to do Braun versus Brock and push for that match to happen, but it appears he's kind of gotten talked out of it. All right, WrestleMania 11 main eventer. This is today's news. Lawrence Taylor, remember that? 57 years old today, and Chris Sabin turns 34. And WWE taped the following matches for tonight's SmackDown. Is going to be Roman Reigns taking on Rusev. This is non-spoilers. Kevin Owens taking on the U.S. champion Kalisto in a non-title match, so you know who's going to win there. Ryback taking on Eric Rowan. AJ Styles taking on The Miz. Tag team champion New Day taking on Social Outcast. And the Divas, Charlotte defeats, defeats, I think it means defends, Alicia Fox in a non-title match. Well, it says defeat. I don't know. Of course, it's a non-title match, so got me. I thought it was a non-spoiler. Hall of Famer Booker T shows off. He's got a 20,000 square foot facility down in Texas for his reality of wrestling. And the video includes his wife Charmel, Rob Van Dam, Bruce Pritchard, and a lot of others talking about his wrestling company. And remember Trevor Murdoch, tag team champion, who was in WWE for just a short time, chewed tobacco and all that. Anyway, he opened a new wrestling school in Kansas City this month, and Kansas City Pro Wrestling Training Center will be ran by Murdoch and Derek McQueen, who was also trained by WWE Hall of Famer Harley Race, and has worked as a personal trainer for pro athletes. Not only will the school feature pro wrestling training, it's also going to be offering personal fitness programs to students. And the last time I seen Trevor Murdoch, he wasn't the exact one I would want to train me for fitness. Just looks, oh, anyway. Says our goal is to create a well-rounded performers, and we're going to be having access to several wrestling personalities who will be helping as trainers and things like that. But teaching skills such as elements of TV production also, and how to create and develop personas, and will give students the best chance to succeed in the industry. Anyway. The next NXT TV taping down at Full Sail has been announced for Thursday, April 28th. Tickets go on sale the 29th if you're down that way at 10 o'clock. And it appears few of the episodes of NXT TV during WrestleMania 32 weekend, before or after NXT TakeOver Dallas show on April 1st. They're going to air sometime some of the NXT matches from the Access that week also, on most likely the network. WWE's currently working on plans for a multi-week WWE NXT series that's going to be focusing on lighter weight wrestlers. Possibly coming this summer. They're not sure on it yet. I think it'd be interesting. Details are kind of sketchy, but the plans will likely change, or could be just mixed all together if they didn't think they're going to be an audience. But the idea is to produce a 10-segment or a 10-episode tournament for unknown wrestlers that haven't appeared on WWE or NXT TV. And also, they have to weigh less than 205 pounds, which counts me out. I get one leg in it, I guess. One idea was to do something like a Japanese tournament, but like I say, it all could change. Another version of the project will feature all indie wrestlers with the idea that they could be signed to a WWE deal if they got over. I like that idea. Another idea was to mix hot indie guys with developmental talent and use the show as a way for La Sombra to make a debut, which is Manny Andrade. That's who La Sombra is. Anyway, WWE officials met with Lucha Underground back in December, but nothing came out of the meeting. It was represented by TNA and senior director of talent development, Canyon Seaman. There was some sort of discussion about the talent, but the talks just kind of went nowhere. And on a related note, TNA reached out to Lucha Underground, and the company floated ideas about doing a joint show in Dallas during a WrestleMania 32 weekend, but Lucha Underground turned down that offer. Say, hey, we don't want to get a little, make a bridge right there that might get broken. So it'd be a bad mix. WWE officials they plan on bringing in Shinsuke Nakamura, which I told you about the last few weeks. They was going to bring him straight to the main roster, but now they're looking at doing a transition period, which they may see him down in NXT working for a while. And there have been rumors that WWE purchased the rights to Nakamura's Subconscious theme song, but that's not true, I guess. Nakamura is expected to receive new music, and Wrestling Observer newsletter says they point out as just because he's using the name Nakamura in NXT doesn't mean he will be using that name when it comes to the main roster. So Nakamura's first WWE match will take place right around April 1st on April Fool's Day at TakeOver Dallas against Sami Zayn. So they're putting a lot of faith in him. So I'm going to have to look him up and, watch some of his matches just to see, how things are with him. But you got to get him down there. I hate to say it, into NXT so they know how WWE wrestlers work. There's just, everybody gets trained different, so they kind of got to get untrained. Courtesy of WWE DVDnews.com, here's a little bit of a synopsis. I can't read all this. The United States Championship, A Legacy of Greatness. The DVD and Blu-ray comes out April 26th. Disc 1 has got Mid-Atlantic's beginnings, which is U.S. Champion match with Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat. Guest referee is Andre the Giant. That starts off the DVD, and that was September of 1978. Then it goes on to Great Hammer Valentine versus Roddy Piper in 83. That was Worldwide Wrestling. Let me go on down here to Disc 2 starts out the Ted Turner's World Championship Wrestling. WCW U.S. title with Sting versus Ravishing Rick Rude, Clash of Champions 17, looks like. November 19th, 1991. Then it goes on to Ricky the Dragon versus Dusty Rhodes in 93. Got the Great Muta, and then on Disc 3 is Booker T arrives in WWE. WCW U.S. Championship match is Kurt Angle taking on Undertaker November 5th, 2001. That's Disc 3 at the beginning. Then it goes on to Edge versus Test, Survivor Series in 2001. And it goes all the way down to, some Blu-ray exclusives also. They got the U.S. Championship match, John Cena taking on Del Rio, Hell in the Cell, October 25th, 2015. That's the end of Disc 3. But some of the exclusives on the Blu-ray is Dusty Rhodes taking on Ivan Koloff in 88. That goes all the way down to U.S. title match with John Cena and Cesaro, Raw, June 29th, 2015. Thanks for clicking, you guys. I gotta go.